Tonight we will meet a woman who played the game of power better than any man of her age. But in doing so, she traded away her daughters, crushed her own flesh and blood, and watched kingdoms burn around her. This is the story of Eleanor of Aquitaine, the woman who ruled England and then lost everything. Are you ready? Let us begin. You step off the carriage and into the bustling courtyard of your new home. Behind you comes Henry, your husband. Before you stands your brand new court, whispering and pointing. There are lords and ladies here who once called you cousin. They are loyal to Henry, to you. But as you walk into the great hall, your gaze falls on two empty seats. The small chairs are placed beside an even smaller table, far away from the high table where the real feast takes place. And as you settle into your seat, you can't help but notice the pointed looks of your ladies in waiting. After all, you are a French queen now, come to rule his court. And he has been known to lose interest rather quickly. Then he turns to you, his smile is sharp and quick. And as he tells stories of his victories and conquests, you feel your stomach turn. For every word he utters is a reminder that you were brought here under false pretenses. He made you believe you could rule alongside him. Instead, you are nothing more than a prize to be hung on his wall, something beautiful to behold. Maybe, if he feels like it. Part 3. The Lioness of Aquitaine. Now Henry expects you to bear him a son, but your ladies in waiting all seem to know something you don't. What did your cousin tell you before he died? That your marriage would be childless? Well, Henry wouldn't accept that, not yet. So he pushes you to drink, eat, sleep, make love, all in the hopes of producing an heir. And while you may be queen, Henry treats you as though you were just a girl in waiting. You hear laughter from the nursery. A boy? Has he finally brought you a son? Maybe. Or perhaps he found some other way to fill the room with childish joy. You remember how much you loved being Queen of France, how you rode through the streets on a golden chariot, how people cheered your name. Here, Henry rules. With you by his side, you are nothing but a supporting character in his story. But you used to be the star of yours. Could it be that the shy, quiet girl from Poitiers could find her way back to the bright lights of Aquitaine? Now, deep down, you know Henry would never allow it. He, too, remembers your father's last words. The Lioness of Aquitaine has teeth and claws. Don't let her go after you. Part 4. The Price of the Crown. Now Henry paces his study, talking to no one in particular. You watch him from the doorway, tired, distant. You do not know this man anymore. He used to be fun-loving, full of vigor and life. Now he drinks heavily. He lashes out at his servants. He screams at his counselors. He is ready to abandon his old life. In order to start anew, you see it in his eyes. The same fire that once won you over has turned to ash. The years in Aquitaine have changed him, have turned him, and what is left of him is dangerous. When he looks your way, you feel a chill run down your spine. He knows you've been talking to the Archbishop. He knows you wish to leave. And tonight, you will pay the price of the crown. Part 5. Children of Discord. Henry summons you to his chambers. As you approach, you hear the sound of a woman's voice echoing from within. Your steps slow. What is she doing here? You think of your own daughters, Marie and Alex, and your heart aches. Your lady-in-waiting insists you must enter. What is happening here? What is he doing? he sits on the edge of his bed, and next to him, wrapped in a fur rug, lies a tiny baby. A girl. Where did she come from? Why is she here? Then Henry speaks, and when his words reach you, your legs grow heavy. He tells you about a secret liaison, about a child born out of wedlock, and you know exactly who the lady-in-waiting is. You recognize the girl, too. You helped raise her as your own, and now she is Henry's heir, the child that will carry on his bloodline, the rightful princess of England. Part 6. The Betrayal of Poitiers. You have left England and returned to Aquitaine. Around you are the ghosts of your past, memories of family and love. The walls here knew you as Duchess, and soon they will know you as Queen. For Henry has finally declared himself King of England, and you will stand by his side in Poitiers. On this day it will be announced that you and Henry are officially man and wife. No more whispers, rumors, or doubts. You are his queen. And as you watch him ride into the cathedral, you can't help but wonder, did your cousin really cheat death to warn you? Is Henry really as ruthless as they say? Would he truly harm a fly? Or is he a monster hiding in plain sight? The ceremony begins. Bells ring, people cheer. And as you ride in on your golden chariot, you cannot shake the feeling that all of this is just pretend. That tomorrow you might wake up and find that Henry is just a figment of your imagination, that he never existed at all. Part 7. Alone in the Tower. Years have passed since that fateful coronation. Henry is dead. Your sons are kings, and now you stand accused of plotting against the crown. You are trapped in your tower room. All around you are memories of a happier time, photographs of your children, pictures of your late husband, even a portrait of your parents. You miss them. Do your children miss you? You think of Henry, how he treated you in your final days, and you wonder if it was worth it. The crown is heavy. The throne is cold. The legacy you built with Henry is burning around you. Was it worth it? Was it all worth it? Part 8. The Last Laugh. As your nights break into your tower, you look out the window, the gates are open. Your escape route is clear, but why leave? Where would you go? Who would believe your story? You are crazy. Consumed by grief and regret, you calmly surrender to your captors. They drag you to the dungeon. The stone walls are cold. The iron bars are heavy. And as your sons approach, you can't help but feel a sense of pride. Yes, they are your flesh and blood. Yes, you gave them life, but you didn't raise them. Henry did. He taught them how to be ruthless, how to be ambitious, how to be kings. And in the end, it was him, not you, who paid the price of the crown. The cell door slams shut. You hear the guards retreat, and when the echo fades, you let out a long sigh. Finally, you are free. Free from the pain, the betrayal, the grief. Free from the crown. Finally, you are alone. In the end, history remembered Eleanor of Aquitaine as a cruel, scheming woman, a wicked stepmother, a traitorous wife. But as you sit alone in the dark, you can't help but feel a sense of peace. You are free from everything. You are free from the crown. Thank you for joining me today on this episode of Whispers of History for Sleep. Which part was your favorite? Which moment stayed with you the longest? Let me know in the comments below. And now I have a question for you. Have you ever had to make a difficult decision, knowing that no matter what you chose, you would lose something important? Have you ever sacrificed something precious for the sake of a greater good? Share your thoughts below. You wake up suddenly, gasping for air, sheets tangled around you. The bed feels cold beside you. You're alone. Chills creep in, so you pull the furs tighter and stare up at the canopy, trying to will sleep back. No luck, it's always like this just after sunrise. Then you hear him coming, boots echoing on the stone floor. He pushes aside the curtains and steps in. "Did I wake you?" he asks, looking stunning in the morning light, hair tousled, eyes sparkling. You manage a smile, even though it doesn't quite reach your eyes. "No, I couldn't sleep," you reply, trying to keep your voice steady. Henry steps closer, leaning down to kiss you lightly on the lips, possessively. Then he straightens up, locking eyes with you. "You must," he murmurs, his voice low. "You must bear me a son, and quickly." He turns away, leaving you trembling not from the cold. You're the Queen of England now, but to keep that crown you have to do what Henry expects. Give him a son. And fast. You step into your new chambers in Westminster. The tapestries are unfamiliar. The servants whisper in hushed tones. The bed is huge, just waiting. Henry wants an heir. But this palace isn't made for mothers. It's built for power. And power, you're learning, comes with a price. The weight of his words hangs over you like a heavy blanket. You're the Queen of England, but in these cold, lonely chambers, you feel more like a prisoner than a monarch. How did you end up here? Let's rewind a bit. You stand in the great hall of Westminster, a new jewel in England's crown. Everything is fresh and strange. The tapestries on the walls are foreign. The servants whisper in a language that feels odd. But the most unsettling thing? The bed. Huge, wide, and just waiting. Henry looks at you expectantly, then turns away. The message is crystal clear. This isn't just a bedroom. It's a birthing chamber. For the first time since crossing the Channel, fear grips you. In Aquitaine, you were Eleanor, Duchess of Fire and Spirit. Here, they call you Your Majesty. At least let's introduce ourselves properly. I'm your hand, your voice, your eyes and ears. Your ladies-in-waiting gather around you, their faces pale, their eyes downcast. They avoid your gaze as you dress, eat, and walk. Are they scared to meet your eyes because they know something you don't, or something you're afraid to ask? Why are they so hesitant? As you pace the hall, your ladies-in-waiting fall silent. Finally, one brave girl named Margaret gathers the courage to speak. "My queen," she whispers, "are you troubled?" "Why do they call me Your Majesty?" you ask, ignoring her question. "Because you are my queen," another replies, "but none of them will meet your gaze. As the weeks go by, your ladies-in-waiting keep avoiding you, their faces pale, their eyes downcast. It's Eleanor versus the world, and Eleanor knows she's losing. She sits alone in her chambers, writing letters. Whispers swirl in the halls, rumors spoken in hushed tones. Henry had a prophecy read at his birth. The astrologer said he would father many sons, but not with the same woman. You get the implications loud and clear. Henry will look for another queen, one who can give him a son. And what then? Will he cast you aside, a barren queen with no purpose in his court? You won't let that happen. You turn your thoughts to the future, your family, your blood, your legacy. What will happen to them if Henry takes another wife? You have to give him a son, but your belly doesn't swell. Again, Henry grows colder, and so you try harder. You eat foods that are supposed to help you gain weight. You drink the wines the monks recommend, concoct herbal mixtures, even hang charms over your door. Nothing seems to work. Henry seeks comfort in other women, some noble, some not. You, the crowned queen of 2 kingdoms, sit alone in your room, watching the weeks turn into months. One day, laughter echoes through the long, empty nursery. You stop, puzzled, because you've never heard children's voices here. A nursemaid walks by, carrying a swaddled boy. She smiles at you briefly, then keeps going. You turn back to your embroidery, but the image of the boy lingers in your mind. Too old to be your son, too familiar to be a stranger. Later that day, you'll find Henry in the nursery. He's playing with the boy, his face soft with amusement. You want to ask who the child is, demand to know why he's here, but you don't. You already know the answer. You see it in the way Henry's eyes light up at the sight of you, that possessive smile curling his lips. He rises to his feet, straightening his tunic, and approaches you. "Eleanor," he says softly, "come meet my son." His son. There's no doubt in his voice, in his eyes. Henry beams at you proudly, chest swelling with pride. "See? I told you would bear me a son." He strokes the boy's hair affectionately. "And you needn't worry, Eleanor, he's not the last." He kisses your forehead, lingering for a moment before pulling away. "But now, my love, it's time for you to rest." He turns away, leaving you staring after him in disbelief. All those months, all those fears, all those hopes, were they all for nothing? You look back at the boy, now in the arms of a nursemaid, being carried away. "Some boys arrive early," Henry had said. "You don't understand what he means. Another son. How can he have another son when this one is so old?" Months pass. Eleanor rides through the green hills of England. The wind whips through her hair, carrying the scent of rain and earth. She feels alive, free, powerful. But as she rides, she sees Henry's face everywhere, in the clouds, in the trees, in the very hills themselves. She's haunted by his words. "It's done. The astrologer was wrong. You are with child." Was he wrong? Or did he already know? Did he plant the seeds of doubt in her mind so she would seek comfort in Aquitaine? She reaches the crest of a hill and looks out over the land. This kingdom isn't hers, not really. Henry holds all the power. But she isn't powerless. She may have lost the cradle, but she will keep the crown. She is Eleanor, Duchess of Fire and Spirit. And she's not done fighting. You stand in the throne room, watching the court below. Henry sits on the throne, his face lit by flickering torchlight. He is everything a king should be: strong, proud, powerful. But behind that mask of strength, you see only a boy, the boy you once knew so well. And suddenly, you know what you have to do. You walk toward the throne, your steps echoing in the vast chamber. Henry turns to look at you, and a smile breaks across his face. He rises and walks toward you, his hand outstretched. But you don't take it. Instead, you look into his eyes, deep into his soul, and say, "And what if it's a daughter?" Henry's smile fades, and in that moment you know you've won. This kingdom will never be yours unless you take it. You gave Henry the son he always wanted, a male heir to rule England. But you didn't give him what he really needed, not just yet. You're Eleanor, Queen of England, Duchess of Aquitaine, and the mother of a future king. And you're determined to get what you want. Picture this: bells ringing across England, people celebrating. A boy, an heir. The court is going wild. Henry II, the king, seems almost indifferent to the fact that you were in labor just hours ago. But then a real smile breaks across his face. He laughs, and that joy echoes throughout the court. Everyone joins in the festivities, celebrating, drinking, dancing, singing. It's a night of revelry while you lie in bed, tired and aching, but feeling victorious. Your body still throbs from the ordeal, but you know this is just another battle won. They think they own you now, but you've still got one last war left in you. Henry comes to you, holding the babe high, but he doesn't even look at you. His eyes shine with a wild glee as he bounces the child, crooning softly. But then the baby lets out a piercing wail, and just like that, the nursemaid whisks him away before you can even get a proper look. No introductions. You gave him a son, but not peace. Henry's growing power makes him fear what you might do with your own. You know what you need to do: get close to the child. Make him your ally. But how? You have a couple of options. I demand that the child be brought to you and tell Henry you want to name him yourself. You can see the child, hold him close, feel his softness against you. Know that soon he will be strong and yours. Or B, leave him be. Don't interfere. Let him come to you when he's ready, when he seeks you out because he needs his mother. There's no rush. You have all the time in the world. But first you need to address the court. They're watching you now that they have their king, and their attention is drifting back to you. What will you say? A. Ignore them and head straight to the nursery to find the child. This is your priority. Or B. Address the court, reminding them that while the babe is king, it's the mother who truly rules. The new king will grow up under your watchful eye. You know how vulnerable children are in these years. You've heard the stories about the many attempts on your life. What chance would a child have without you? Regardless of what you choose, Henry never brings you the child. The next morning, you find them both in the nursery. The babe looks different, more regal, more distant. He's already pulling away from you. But when he sees you, he reaches out, gurgling happily. You hold him close, ignoring Henry's watchful gaze. He's waiting for you to make a move, thinking you're dangerous, that you might try to take the crown for yourself. It's been months since the babe was born. The court still calls him heir, but even the nurses and servants now refer to him as king. It's as if your son doesn't exist to them, as if he's not worth their time. That's the battle you're fighting right now, and you're determined to win it. He may be the king, but you are the mother. You want to get close to him, show him you mean no harm, but Henry won't allow it. So you do what you can. You write letters. Every day you send word to your sister in Aquitaine, asking about loyal men, ships, and old noble families. Meanwhile, Henry spies on you, thinking you're up to no good. He has no idea what you're really planning, but he's convinced you're a threat. You're playing your part, giving him reason to keep watching, keep suspecting. But you're also preparing for a different future, one where you're not just the queen, but where you could rule kingdoms again. Then one day a letter arrives, but it's not in your hand. Henry is holding it, reading it with a cold expression. Behind him, the messenger looks terrified. Planning a return to Poitiers, my lioness? Henry asks, turning to you. You say nothing, but your eyes say it all. Yes. Henry is furious. What are you doing in Aquitaine? Are you gathering allies? What's your plan? He won't let you leave England. He'll make sure of it. But every day he allows you to get closer to your son, letting you mold the boy and turn him to your side. Every day you get to be the mother instead of just the queen. Because when you win the heart of a child, you win the heart of a kingdom. A year has passed since the babe was born. A year since Henry took him away from you. He still won't let you near the child, but it doesn't matter. You know he'll come to you soon enough. In the meantime, you have to get rid of everyone else. You know what Henry's doing. First, he removed your guards, those brave women who stood between you and the court. Then he took away your maids, the ones who knew your secrets, who could tell tales of Poitiers. Next, he removed your allies, one by one, until no one remained who understood you or spoke your language. Your priests were gone, replaced by one of Henry's own choosing, a man who watches you more closely than the others. Now the walls are closing in. Every day you wake up colder, hungrier. You can't bear the thought of another sunrise in this gilded cage. You pace your room, feeling trapped and angry. How much longer can you stay here? How much longer will you pretend? Suddenly there's a knock at the door. You jump. No one enters without announcing themselves. You demand to know who's there. "My lady," a voice replies, "it's your son. He wishes to see you." Finally, the moment you've been waiting for. You rush to the door and throw it open. There stands a little boy, smaller than you imagined, but beautiful. "Come," you say, taking his hand. He's wearing the crown. "Mother," he whispers, looking down. "Why have I waited so long?" You pull him close, stroking his hair. "It's all right, little lion." You murmur, "It's all right now." Just then Henry enters the room, his face dark. "I told you not to sneak him out," you snap. "You have no right to speak to me that way," he growls. "What are you doing? Why do you defy me?" You laugh. "Defy you? Henry, you've crossed the line." You push past him, walking toward the door. He grabs your arm, his fingers digging into your flesh. You wince. "Don't defy me," he growls, "or I'll have your crown, or I'll have your head." He throws you to the ground. "Get up," he commands. You stand slowly, meeting his eyes. "Henry," you warn, voice low, "don't make me choose." He releases you, and you brush yourself off. You walk out of the room, ignoring the child. You must gather your allies. You must secure your base of power. Only then will you make your move. You aren't done yet. You aren't finished with Henry. This war is far from over. Henry knows what you're doing. He's seen your moves before, and he's prepared for them. He's anticipated every single one. You aren't sly. You aren't clever. You're dangerous. Like a lioness, he knows it now, and he's already taken steps to ensure you stay put. He enters your room again, his face grim. He throws a cloak on the floor, here to warn you, to remind you of your place. "Eleanor," he says, his voice icy, "do not make a move against me. You have nothing left." "Oh, but I have you," you purr. "You might think you've won, Henry, but this game isn't over yet. You may have taken everything from me, but you forgot one crucial thing. You forgot that I am still Eleanor, and you may have defeated the lioness, but you haven't slain her yet." Henry lunges at you, knocking you to the ground. He towers above you, chest heaving. For a moment, you think he might end it here, but he doesn't strike you. He doesn't strike the woman beneath him. He doesn't strike his wife. "You are mine," he snarls, "and you will do as I say. If you move against me, I will destroy you." You meet his eyes, knowing he means it. He wouldn't hesitate to kill you. "And if you move against me," you reply, voice low, "you'll answer to my son." Henry freezes, looking down at the child standing in the doorway, clutching a wooden sword. He looks back at you, his face pale. "I won," you whisper. rising to your feet. "I always win, Henry, always." He doesn't look at you anymore. He paces by the window, muttering under his breath, back turned to you. Outside, a low rumble of thunder hints at an approaching storm. You stand in the corridor, watching him, but he doesn't see you. He doesn't want to. Suddenly, he hurls a cup against the wall, and it crashes, a string of curses spilling out, directed at ghosts only he can see. To him, you're a ghost, too, haunting his every moment. What used to be warmth between you has turned to ice. Tonight, he'll stop pretending, and you'll discover the real cost of being queen. He made you queen. For years, he called you his queen, his Eleanor, his lioness. You believed him, basking in it. You wore the crown jewels, the velvet robes, the ermine capes, feeling like royalty and loved by your king. But now, you're a queen without a king. The crown feels heavy, the robes suffocating, the jewels like millstones around your neck. You watch him pace, lashing out at servants who dare enter, demanding food or news of his sons, his eyes wild with worry. He's mad with fear and suspicion. His youngest son has taken Paris, and the other two are marching on London, calling themselves his heirs and talking of rebellion. Henry knows they mean it. The seeds of discontent, planted long ago, have bloomed into towering red roses. Henry paces, speaking to no one, ranting about betrayal, disloyal sons, and false priests. He lashes out at the portraits on the walls, their painted eyes sneering back at him, always with an undercurrent of blame aimed at you. You've done nothing, not yet. But Henry can't see the difference. He suspects your influence, but can't prove it. So he keeps you close, but not too close. No letters, no visitors, no court. The courtiers who once sought your favor vanish when you appear in public. He allows no one to write to you, but sends men to follow you everywhere. 2 guards trail you through the palace, standing in the corners of your rooms, their presence suffocating. You are queen, but you are a prisoner. At first, you tried to ignore them. You busied yourself with embroidery, music, and caring for injured birds and animals. You filled your days with charity, giving generously to beggars, prisoners, and the sick, even as the walls closed in around you. But one night, your favorite lady-in-waiting vanished. The next night, your maid was questioned for hours before returning to your service. You aren't accused of anything, but you're never left alone. You pace your solar, the heavy velvet curtains shrouding the room in gloom. You clutch the chains hanging from the canopy bed, twisting them until your knuckles ache. You feel like a puppet dancing on strings held by your husband, the puppeteer. And now he's pulling you into the shadows. One night you wake to find the room freezing cold. Your breath hangs in the air, catching in your throat. Your fingers fumble for the chains beside you, seeking comfort in their familiar weight. But tonight, something is off. There's no fire in the hearth. The servants have fled, and the 2 guards outside your door are gone. You're not alone. You whirl around. Henry stands in the shadows by the bed, his face hidden in the darkness. "Get up," he says, his voice a hoarse whisper. His hand reaches out, not to touch you, but to pull you toward the window. Outside, a full moon hangs in the inky sky. A cold wind rattles the casements. "Look," Henry whispers, frantic. You obey. In the distance, flickering torches and the pounding of drums reach your ears. A small band of men rides into the courtyard below, met by a larger group. Their voices carry to you on the winged rebellion. They shout, "Murder, betrayal." "King John, our king." The name rings false in your ears. a discordant note. "I thought you loved me," you whisper. Henry turns, his face pale in the moonlight. "I did," he whispers back, his hand tightening on your arm. "And I thought you loved me. We were going to rule together, remember? You'd be my queen, and I'd be your king. I wanted that," you say, your voice catching. "Then why? Why what? Why am I trapped here?" "Because," he says, his voice cracking, "you are surrounded by vipers. You wouldn't protect me. You sent my brother to France with my crown jewels. You encouraged my son to seize Paris. You plotted with my barons. You laugh, a harsh sound. What proof do you have?" "Enough," he whispers, eyes blazing. "I feel it in my bones. I see it in your eyes." He recoils as if burned. "Oh, Henry," you whisper, "you are mad." He shakes his head. "No, Eleanor, you are mad. How can you not see what is happening? My kingdom is falling apart. My sons have raised an army. My barons are whispering in the dark. If I don't crush them, I will die. And you," he says, voice low and dangerous, "you could help me, or you could join them. Tell me, which is it?" He stares at you, waiting. His face is young again, round cheeks and a strong jaw, the face of the boy king who married you. For a moment you almost believe him. Almost. Believe what? That you're a traitor, a viper, a danger to him? That he might need to cage you, to lock you up, to keep you from harming him? Maybe. Or perhaps he's having a breakdown, a final derangement after years of wars and betrayals. But then you see his eyes hard and bright and unwavering, and you know he's not mad. He thinks you're plotting against him. And who could blame him? You are plotting against him. You had planned to leave England, take ship with your lover, the exiled French king, and sail to Normandy, where your brother awaits, where you'll live out your days in peace. But Henry wants to know which side you're on. Tomorrow he'll march on Paris. Tomorrow he'll take his crown jewels back. Tomorrow he'll break the barons. Tomorrow he'll have his queen by his side, whether she wishes to be there or not. He waits. You watch the men below ride off into the darkness. You watch Henry grow rigid. And suddenly you understand. You are not a prisoner. You are a hostage. As dawn breaks, you kneel in your chapel, hands clasped, eyes on the altar. You're not praying for Henry's soul, not anymore. You're not asking God for guidance, not really. You're praying for clarity. Clarity so that when Henry comes to you demanding your choice, you'll choose wisely. When he comes, you're kneeling, and you don't rise. He enters, armor clanking, and asks again, which side? You answer, neither. You speak slowly, deliberately. Neither side, Henry. I am neither with you nor against you. I am with myself. You look up, meeting his gaze. Do you not see, Henry, that I am no one's pawn? Do you not know that I am my own queen? He recoils as if struck. Eleanor, what are you saying? You must choose. Either you are with me or against me. And what, you ask, if I choose neither? Silence. He looks at you, incredulous, then angry. I thought you loved me, he whispers. I thought you wanted to be queen. I did, Henry, I do, but you're asking me to betray myself. To choose a side is to betray the other, and I refuse to do that, Henry. You will go to war, and I will walk behind you with my head held high. We will be queen and king, side by side, but not together. You will win or lose, but I will be whole. You stand up, straightening your skirts. Whatever you choose, Henry, you will be alone. He screams, a wild, terrible sound echoing down the corridors of your marriage. Don't make me do this, Eleanor. Don't make me treat you like them. He drops to his knees before you, armor clattering to the stone floor. Stay with me, he begs, voice cracking. Stay with me, and we will rule together. I cannot, you whisper. Not anymore. You kneel again, this time on the other side of the altar, facing him, and you pray for strength. Strength to survive him, to endure him, to outlive him. He leaves without you, striding from the chapel, from the palace, from your life, and you are free. Free to mourn the girl who died in that chapel all those years ago. Free to bury the bride who came after. Free to kill the queen who outlived them both. You didn't lose the crown, Eleanor. You paid for it with your freedom. Children of discord, you raised kings, but guess what? They didn't rise to protect you. Nope, they rose to betray you. You find yourself standing at the door of Henry's chambers, and inside, laughter fills the air, along with the cry of a baby. Curiosity pulls you in, so you push the door open. There he is, calm and smiling, and beside him on the bed is a fur-wrapped infant girl. A newborn, not yours. The woman next to her curtsies low, but you don't need her to tell you who she is. You already know. It's Eleanor, your former lady-in-waiting, the one you trusted with your letters, the one you raised like family. And now here she is, holding Henry's bastard child up for you to see. My queen, Henry says, standing up. May I present Eleanor and her daughter, born just hours ago. You stare at that tiny hand curled around Eleanor's finger, eyes closed peacefully. Inside you're screaming, wanting to weep, to curse God for this cruel joke. But nothing comes out, just a dry sob, like wind rustling through autumn leaves. As much as you loathe Eleanor, as much as you despise yourself for not seeing this, you can't help but admit she's won. The castle buzzes with activity. Henry's men have taken 4 nobles hostage, and you're stuck in your room. When his messenger arrives demanding your presence in the great hall, you know what's coming. You can feel it in your bones. Tonight you'll lose more than your crown. You'll lose your place in history. Walking through the cold stone halls, the faces of your sons flash before your eyes. They're angry, older, wiser, stronger, but still boys. Boys who will be pawns in their father's game. You reach the great hall and step inside. Henry is there, flanked by your sons, with Eleanor and her baby by his side. At the far end, the 4 hostages sit, bound and gagged. As you enter, Henry turns to face you, his eyes cold. You wished to speak with me, my lord? You ask, your voice shaking. I did, he replies. And now you see the result of my efforts. Loyalty is a 2-way street, lioness. I've given you many sons, but you bear me daughters only. So I've taken a wife who can secure my succession. Eleanor, you say, your eyes flashing. She was your servant. Until recently, Henry interrupts. But now she's the mother of my heir, my rightful heir. He gestures to the baby. Your eldest son steps forward, fists clenched. By God, father, how dare you? But Henry silences him with a glare. Silence, he roars. You dare speak of bloodlines, of legacy? What bloodline flows in your veins? You are bastards. All of you. He turns back to you, voice softer now. I'm sorry to say this, my queen, but you failed me. I had hoped for a son, but you gave me daughters. Let this be a lesson. Don't mistake kindness for weakness. Don't confuse love with trust. He looks at you. really looks at you for the first time in years, and you see the monster you helped create. You pushed him to become this just like your brothers and your father did before you. You are a kingmaker. Oh God, you made a king. In the morning you wake to find the castle empty. Eleanor and the baby are gone, and so is Henry. In their place, a note scrawled on parchment reads, "To my sons, should you read this, know that your sister is your equal heir. Should anyone threaten her claim, remember, she is your blood too." You crumble the letter in your hand, tears blurring your vision. You're alone in that tower, trapped like a bird without wings. But you're not a bird. You're a lioness, caged, forgotten, and furious. You will claw your way free. You will show them what a lioness can do. Pacing your room back and forth, you know you'll have to leave soon, to hide. But first you have a daughter to visit. At the edge of town, away from prying eyes, you find her. She is your daughter, yours. Kneeling beside her crib, you brush back her soft, dark hair. "Do not mistake kindness for weakness," she whispers, her voice like velvet. "Do not confuse love with trust." You smile sadly. She knows more than she should, but you will teach her. You will teach her how to survive in this world. You will teach her how to rule it. Years pass. Your daughter grows, changing into someone beautiful, intelligent, and dangerous. All the while, you train her, sharing everything you know, everything you learned from your father, your brothers, and Henry. You teach her how to be queen. Then one day, your son returns. He's older, wiser, stronger, but still a boy in some ways. He's your eldest, the firstborn of you and Henry's union, and he's here because Henry is dead. You welcome him home, embrace him tightly, then pull away to look him in the eye. "You will avenge me," you whisper. "You will avenge us all." "How?" he asks. "Henry is dead. There's no war left." "Not yet," you reply. "Not yet." So you plot, plan, scheme, and wait. You gather allies, forge bonds, whisper sweet nothings to lords and ladies, write letters sealed with red wax, and make promises you have no intention of keeping. Slowly but surely, you prepare to strike. Finally, the day arrives. You and your son, along with loyal knights and your bastard siblings, march on Paris, your standard held high, the sun glinting off its gold braid. You are unstoppable. You are magnificent. You are ready to take what is rightfully yours. Henry's successor, barely a teenager, hides behind his counselors, afraid and confused. Your son, older and stronger, fights on your behalf, proving his mettle on the battlefield. You watch from afar as he charges forth, sword raised high. Then suddenly, right before your eyes, he stops. He turns his horse around and flees. You can't believe it. No, this can't be happening. What is he doing? You ask the knight beside you, your voice cracking. "He's giving up," the knight says quietly. "He's had enough of kingship." You can't comprehend it. Why would your son abandon you, abandon this cause? But then you remember. Henry kept you locked in a tower, not because he wanted you dead, but because he wanted you silenced. He took your voice away from you, and in doing so he broke your spirit. He made you a martyr. Your knights are scattered, defeated. You have lost. Your prize, Eleanor, and the baby are gone. You are alone. The kingdom is not yours. It never was. You realize now that you are not a lioness. You are a Jew-elf, lone and hungry, banished from your pack, destined to wander the world alone forever. They call it treason. They say you betrayed your husband, but no one asks what he did to earn it. They drag you from your chamber at dawn, no shoes, no crown, only silence. Henry watches, arms crossed, as you're taken away. She tried to raise a kingdom, he says, but all she raised was discord. And for the first time in years, you feel something new pride. You didn't teach your sons to betray the crown. You taught them to survive it. You returned home to reclaim your power. Instead, you walked into a trap set by your husband, a king who never forgot what you took from him. You arrive in Poitiers with your head high and your heart heavy. You are back where it all began. But something feels wrong. You came to stand beside your king, but you may have just walked into your own execution. The bells of Poitiers ring, the streets are full, people cheer. You ride with Henry through the crowds, his arm around your waist. He smiles for them, laughs at their jokes, but he hasn't looked at you once. You smile politely at the women, curtsy to the nobles, but inside you feel only dread. All these people, all these faces, they welcomed you as a hero, but their eyes are cold. There is no warmth in the cheers. There is no joy in the music. As the procession moves forward, you turn to Henry. Surely he will understand your sacrifice. Surely he will hold you close, thank you for coming home. But when you turn to him, he looks away. Henry, you say softly, but there is no answering smile, no embrace, only silence. Therefore you ride back to the castle, back to the room where once you dreamed of the future. The stone walls are the same. The carvings on the doors are the same, but something is different. Something is terribly wrong. You go to him then, and he turns from the window, startled. For a moment the anger flashes across his face, then fades to nothing. I did not expect you so soon, he says, and there is no reproach in his voice, only emptiness. They needed me, Henry, you whisper, and suddenly you know you are making a terrible mistake. Therefore, that night you walk the old halls alone. The moon is a sliver, the shadows are long. You pass your chamber, your old chamber. It is dark, but from inside comes the murmur of voices, men's voices. You had thought to find peace here. You had thought to walk these halls as a queen. But you are only a ghost haunting the place she once called home. The stones of Poitiers remember you, the echoes of your laughter. They remember your father's booming voice, your sister's girlish giggles. They remember the girl who dreamed of a kind and gentle king, a girl who thought she could tame a lion. The walls of Poitiers have seen too much blood. They have heard too much sorrow. They do not want another ghost. Then you come to the chapel, the place where you said your vows, the place where you buried your past. Inside you kneel before the altar and pray for strength, for wisdom, for peace. Maybe God will forgive you for what you did to him. Maybe he will welcome you back into his kingdom. But when you rise, you see that you are not alone. 2 guards are standing by the door, silent, unmoving. You try to ignore them and leave. But one steps forward, his face hidden behind his shield. Your Majesty, he says, you must not go there alone. You turn to him then, and you see that his eyes are hard, his gaze unwavering. Do you not trust me? You ask. He does not answer. He only keeps watch. You sigh and step back from the chapel. All of Aquitaine is yours. Why should you fear? Yet you do. For some reason you do, and that night you cannot sleep. Your ladies come and go. The fire burns low, the hours pass. You wait for dawn, but the darkness brings more than ghosts. It brings memories, memories of the nights you spent in this very room. nights filled with love, laughter, life. And in the darkness you cry out for the girl you once were, for the life you once knew. When the morning light finally filters through the curtains, you get up and dress. You wash your face in the basin, splash cold water on your cheeks, and stare into the glass. Who is this stranger looking back at you? She is pale, her eyes are dark. She is a queen, but she is also a hunted animal, trapped and afraid. Then suddenly you hear a noise. A letter falls from the slot above the door. You pick it up, open it, and read, "Beware the king's smile, for it is as false as his crown. Beware the walls of Poitiers, for they have ears and mouths. Beware the king's embrace, for it will be your last." You shiver. Then you turn to the door and call for it to be opened. But instead of the sweet opening of a new day, you hear the click of a bolt. You turn and push against the wood, but it will not budge. The chamber door is locked from the outside. Then Henry finds you. It is late afternoon when he enters. The room is dark, the air is stale. You have not eaten since dawn. "Eleanor," he says, and his voice is soft. You whirl around. At first you only see his silhouette against the light, a dark shape in the doorway. Then he steps forward, and you see his face. He is beautiful, terrible, like a winter storm, like a summer sun. You want to reach out, to touch him, to feel the warmth of his embrace. But he does not come near. He only stands there watching you. You want to speak, to tell him how sorry you are, to beg for his forgiveness. But no words come out. All you can do is stare at the king and hope he understands. He does not. And finally he speaks. "Eleanor, why did you come?" You flinch at the sound of your name. It is as sharp as a knife. "I came home," you whisper. "We have work to do," he says. "Aquitaine needs its queen." "I am Aquitaine." You say, "No," he replies, "you are my prisoner." You ask what that means, but he ignores your question. "You are a guest here," he continues, "until I decide what to do with you." You want to scream, to claw at his eyes, to bite his hand. But you do not. You cannot. And so you sit there watching him, waiting for him to break the news, waiting for the end. But it does not come. That night you dream of Aquitaine, of rolling hills, of warm days, of the scent of orange blossoms. You wake in the night to screams and the clash of arms, then drift back to sleep. And when you wake again, it is to the sound of birds. You get up, go to the window, and look out over the fields of Poitiers. The sun is shining, the sky is blue. The air is filled with the scent of roses. And as you breathe it in, you know it is a trap. That evening you are told to dress. They tell you there will be a celebration, a festival, a gift from the king to the people. You think it is a trap, but you do not care. You go to the looking glass and watch your reflection put on a gown of gold, a circlet of pearls. You see the swan turn into a goose, the lioness turn into a lamb. And when you look out over Poitiers, you know it is too late. In the morning they come for you. You are told to ride down to the cathedral. You hesitate, then climb onto the carriage. They drive you through the city, past the shops, past the houses, past the people, and you look out at their faces. They are smiling, laughing, waving. They do not know what is happening. They do not know that you are a caged bird. When they reach the square, you are told to come down. And as you walk toward the cathedral, you glance once more at the towers, at the sky over Aquitaine, and you realize it is goodbye. You are made to stand beside Henry. He takes your hand, raises it, and shows it to the crowd. Their cheers almost drown out the sound of your scream. They do not let you scream. You wouldn't, even if you could, because in that silence you are still Eleanor. He took your freedom, but he will never take your name. You are still the lioness, even in a cage. The end. Years have passed, or maybe just months. Time feels irrelevant when every day drags on the same. The wind howls through the cracks in the stone, and your meals come through a door that never opens. No mirror, no visitors, no sunlight, just memories haunting the silence. They took your crown, but they forgot that your mind is sharper than any blade. You wake at dawn to the sound of nothing. The bells, they don't ring for you anymore. The court has moved on. Henry is out there ruling without you, and yet you breathe. You wait, you endure. What can you do? You're trapped. You wake before sunrise, realizing you haven't slept at all. Your dreams have been filled with the echo of bells ringing. Are those bells yours or Henry's? Sometimes you think you hear them outside the tower. Other times they feel like they're ringing inside your head. You remember why you're here. They tried to silence you, but you're still breathing, and that makes you a threat. Time drags on, and you watch the seasons change through the small barred window. Spring turns to summer, summer to fall, fall to winter, and back to spring again. Each spring brings fresh blossoms and new hope that maybe this will be the year you escape. But it never happens. Hope withers like the leaves outside, only to bloom again when the warm winds arrive. One quiet day you hear a sound that doesn't belong. Footsteps above your tower, the sound of hammering, and a ladder scraping against stone. Someone is fixing your window. As the sun rises higher, you see him, a young page, barely more than a child, standing on a ladder, cleaning the glass. He hums a love song while he works. You haven't heard one in years. When he's done, he climbs down and runs off before anyone catches him. Henry, your husband, the man who betrayed you, has spread new rumors about you throughout Europe. People whisper that you're mad, but your boys don't believe it. Your son, Richard, writes to you about victories on faraway battlefields. Your daughter, Marie, shares poetry and tales of unrequited love. Even John, the youngest, the boy you feared would hate you most, sends a prayer. They don't talk about Henry, only about you. For a moment, you're not the forgotten Queen Eleanor. You're a mother to the future of England. But then, heavy footsteps approach your tower. The guards are coming, and for a brief moment, you hide the letters. They don't need to know you have visitors. Despite your carefulness, one guard spots the tiny gap in the bars where the letters slip through. She's mad, he says, and the other guard replies, all the women in that family are. One day your daughter Marie comes to visit, accompanied by 2 guards. She tells them to wait outside. Are you sure? She asks, but you nod. Once the door is closed, she steps forward. Your girl has grown into a woman, and her beauty takes your breath away. She looks just like you did at her age. Before you can speak, she asks, why didn't you send for me? Why didn't you tell me you needed help? You reach out to her, but then step back. It would be foolish to give her false hope. Instead, you ask, did you come to rescue me or to gloat? She looks hurt, but quickly recovers. I came to rescue you, she says, and you know she means it. But when she leaves, you realize something else. Henry let her come here because he wants her to see you're mad. That night, you dream of chasing butterflies across a green field. In the distance, you hear faint bells. Maybe they're yours. You run after the sound, finding yourself in a place that feels like home. You reach out to touch the warm stone walls, but you're pulled back to your cold stone room. You wake with a start. Beside your bed, you notice a book and pick it up. It's one of Marie's. She left it behind, filled with poems and margin notes. One poem, tucked inside the cover, is your own. You read it again and again until you memorize it. Then you close the book and try to sleep, but you can't. You get up, find a quill and paper, and write a letter to Marie, folding it carefully and hiding it in her book. If she finds it, she'll know what to do. The next time Marie visits, you pretend to be mad, but she doesn't fall for it. Do you want to escape? She asks, reminding you of the poem you wrote together when she was just a girl. At the end, you had written a message. The queen may be caged, but her mind is free. All you have to do is send her a sign. So you sent the book. Now you look at Marie and ask, do you really believe I'm mad? She shakes her head. No, but I believe you're smarter than anyone here. You smile, keeping your voice low. Don't forget I'm the one who outsmarted the king. One day, a new guard comes to your tower. He's young, handsome, and his name is William. He tells you his father used to guard your tower, but he's gone now. This new guard likes to talk, sharing stories of court intrigue and gossip about the war and his plans for when he returns home. But soon he starts talking about himself and his hopes for the future. You listen patiently until he asks, will you marry me? Startled, you ask why. Because I could take care of you, he says. And when you're queen again, we can rule together. You stare at him for a moment and then burst out laughing. Oh, William, you naive fool. But then you ask, how did you get here? He tells you everything. He was supposed to deliver a message to Marie, but you were much easier to find. He slipped the note into your door, but he wasn't supposed to do that either. It was just an impulse, and now he's fallen in love with you. You tell him he's kind, but you couldn't marry him even if you wanted to. I'm too old for you, you say. He replies, age means nothing. But you cut him off. My son Richard would kill you. He laughs and asks, and what would Richard say? You stare at him and reply, he would say that I am mad. One day you hear hammering and look out your window. A young man is climbing in. His hair is golden, and his eyes are icy. When he climbs through the window, you recognize him. It's Richard, your son, come to see his mother. As he steps out of the window, he turns to leave. Don't leave, you call out, and he stops, surprised. Come back, you say. He hesitates, but then comes back to you. What will you do? The door is locked. You can't get out. But you have to get his attention. Okay, let's rewind a little bit. Now that Richard is here, the choice is yours. Do you embrace your son, argue with him, try to convince him that Henry is evil? Or do you play it cool, like you weren't expecting him at all? If you want to play it cool, click here. If you want to tell him about Henry, click here. If you want to embrace him, click here. Quick pause. Which will you choose? You stand and greet your son. Richard, you say, surprised but pleased. He bows his head. Mother, he replies, and you see the resemblance to your late husband, Richard, King of England. It's not his fault he looks like Henry. He didn't ask to be born, but you can't deny the satisfaction you feel when you see him. He's taller than you, broader in the shoulders, but his eyes are still those of a child. Yours are lined with worry. His are filled with dreams of glory. How did you get here, you ask? I had to, he replies. Some guards saw me and yelled. I told them you might be mad, but I had to see you anyway. He looks down at his feet, embarrassed. Was that foolish, he asks. A little, you reply, smiling. He looks back up at you, hopeful, and you know he wants you to say more, but you hold his gaze for a moment, then break it. Go, you say, before someone sees you. He hesitates, leans forward, and kisses your cheek. Be safe, he whispers, and you nod. You're both silent for a moment, but then you speak again. Don't believe everything you hear, you warn him. Not everyone wishes me ill. He nods slowly, then disappears out your window. When he's gone, you look down at your hands. You should have embraced him, told him about Henry, but there's time for that. Soon, you'll have the chance to tell him everything. But first, you have to get out of here. You spend your days writing, keeping your mind sharp. You write poems, prayers, and strategies for escape. The guards fear you, though you're frail. They know you're not broken. You're building. One day you hear trumpets. Looking out your window, you see a rider approaching the castle. You can't make out his face, but when he dismounts, they buried your name in rumors, painting you as the villain, right? But when the dust settles and your sons kneel at your feet, who really won? After 16 long years in silence, the light finally returns, and with it your son. Here's what went down before. For all those years, you've only heard the drip of water and the sigh of wind through the cracks in the stone walls. It's been so quiet. Then one day, you hear boots echoing down the tower stairs. The guards step aside, and in walks Richard, not a boy anymore. No longer just a prince, a king. He kneels before you. Mother, he says, it's time. You're jolted awake by someone poking you. Groaning, you swat at it blindly until that familiar scent hits you lavender and pipe tobacco. You open your eyes. There's Richard, his face creased with worry. Beside him stands Geoffrey, older and taller, with that same crease of concern between his brows. You force yourself upright. How long has it been? These tower walls have been your whole world for so long that you've lost track of days, weeks, even years. How many years? And what's changed out there? You step into the corridor and see a guard approaching. He stops, bows, and says, Your sons, King Richard and King John, request the pleasure of your company in the throne room. They freed your body, but your mind? It's never been caged. The throne room is packed with barons, clergy, and courtiers. All eyes turn to you as you enter, and you hear whispers, she's alive, she's here. Richard motions for silence and strides forward, taking both your hands in his. Mother, we're sorry for what's happened, but it's time to come home. Geoffrey nods in agreement. We've managed the kingdom in your absence, but it's time for you to return. Inside your head, you're screaming. What? No way. I'm not fit to rule. I don't even know what's going on in the kingdom. In my mind, it's old and rusty. Can you really trust me? But there's no time to think. They pry your fingers apart and lead you away. Your boys are gone. Are they really yours? The castle looms above you, its shadow swallowing you whole. As they escort you through the gates, a voice booms. Eleanor, where have you been? I thought you were dead. Turning, you see Henry, his crown askew, eyes blazing. His mouth twists into a sneer. Did you think to usurp me? Did you plot my death while hidden away? Behind you, one of the guards steps forward. My liege, she's been imprisoned here for 16 years. Do you really think a woman could have plotted such a deed? Henry's eyes flicker to the guard and then snap back to you. He gestures sharply for the guard to leave. Then he continues, "But you're not the only one responsible for this mess. The King of France, that no-good liar, took advantage of my troubles and invaded. Normandy is lost. Anjou is in revolt. Brittany and Maine are gone. All of England trembles before me. And what's my reward? To be undermined by my own wife." "Henry, look at yourself," you retort. "Do you not recognize who you've become? You're unrecognizable." He lets out a roar of laughter. "Eleanor, if God gave me another choice, I'd choose the same. You traded our sons for land and titles. You poisoned my daughter. You made my court a viper's nest. You schemed against me for 16 years. But I am Henry, King of England, and I will not have a queen who plots my demise. If I wanted you dead, you'd be dead," you say, taking a step forward. "But even you can see how this kingdom is falling apart. So let it fall," he says, gesturing grandly. "I'll build it again, brick by brick, town by town, shire by shire. I'll rebuild an even greater England than before. But first, I must deal with you." And with a sweep of his arm, he signals the guards to take you away. Again, as the door slams shut behind you, you realize you've been played. The barons were never on your side. Henry needed you out of the way to solidify his rule. He wanted to secure the throne for his son, and so he called upon you, his estranged wife, to save him. And if you refused, well, the alternative was clear. Back in the cell, you remove your outer garments and collapse onto the bed. Sleep comes easily. When you dream of Aquitaine, of vineyards and fields and sun-drenched hills. The next morning, you're summoned again. This time, Richard and John meet you halfway down the corridor. They lead you out of the castle and onto a waiting ship. Across the channel, you glimpse the white cliffs of Dover and know you've returned to England. A hush falls over the crowd as you enter the hall. You ignore the stairs and make your way to the dais where Henry sits, slumped, weary, and broken. You stop before him, low and slow. "Henry, we've sailed together across the sea. Do you not recognize me?" He raises his head slowly, eyes widening in surprise. "Eleanor, what are you doing here?" With a tired smile, you say, "As you said yourself, I am your wife." Years pass. Henry dies, and Richard rules. For a time you remain in the background, a silent counselor. But the whispers start again. Did you poison Henry? Was Richard crowned because of you? And soon it becomes too much. You withdraw to your chambers, letting Richard rule alone. One day the door opens and Richard enters. He kneels before you. "Mother, it's time." "What do you mean?" You ask, though you already know. Richard hesitates. "The barons want you dead. They come to me, demanding I banish you." You laugh humorlessly. "And what do you intend to do?" He stands. "I've sent for John. Together we'll convince them to let you live." You stand and wrap your arms around him. The last bit of warmth leaves you. "My sons, they've come to kill me. Banish me, they're afraid of me." "No," Richard says fiercely, "they're afraid of history. You were once the most powerful woman in Europe. Now they fear letting you walk free." You pull back, examining him closely. "Do I really have that much power?" He nods, meeting your gaze. "More than you know. If you walk the streets of London right now, the people would tear me down to put you up." John enters and kneels beside his brother. "Mother, come with us. We'll protect you." You survey the two young men before you, both crowned, both struggling to keep their father's empire intact. A smile tugs at your lips. Very well, let's go. You ride into London in triumph. The people cheer your name, and you know Richard is right. You still hold sway over these people, and so the barons relent. They offer you a noble widow's pension and demand you stay away from court. From your chambers, you watch your grandsons play. In the distance, you hear the murmur of the crowd as Richard holds court. You see the ambition in his eyes, the quick temper, the impatience. Will he end up like his father? You push the thought away and focus on the child instead. Years pass. Richard dies, and John ascends to the throne. You watch him reign, knowing he needs you. So you counsel him. You manage the treasury. You write laws. You calm rebellions. The barons test him but find him wanting, so they come to you. They beg for moderation, and every time you ensure peace is restored. At 70 years old, you rule England. And then one night, in the stillness, you sit beside your window and smile. Because no matter what the poets say, you survive them all. History would call you dangerous, manipulative, ambitious. But when you close your eyes, you hear the voices of your children. You smell the smoke of war drums fading into the distance, and you hear your own name, Eleanor. You don't need statues or ballads, you lived. That was enough. They called you a monster, but monsters don't build empires. Queens do. Thank you so much for watching. And a huge thank you to our community of supporters who make these videos possible. Become a supporter today.